Funding for this program was made possible by the Heinz Endowments. Thank you.
So we're now in what I call the Shaolin Temple of Jazz. I'm the bald-headed priest going around giving all the grasshoppers the knowledge to carry on a tradition which needs to be taught a certain type of a way with the spirit of our founding fathers. I'm giving them kind of a military value because it makes them focus and it gives them a sense of awareness and purpose and group identity.
And then you have people that are looking out for you, that want to make sure that you're doing well in school. They want to make sure that, you're doing well in your career. So part of what has helped me is to know that there are people looking out for me.
That's you got a little competition. You got a little competition, okay? Okay, he's got a little bounce, okay. He's got a little bounce that I like.
If you have to do something, you might as well let it be something good or something productive, something that's better than what you're expected to do. Do what you can,
You are my sister. I need you, yes, it's true.
How would you like people to see you?
Well, that little boy's a good singer. He can sing. I bet he practices a lot.
Mostly what I find is in the relationship as Dr. J, we are like a family.
Hey, I owe you.
The question becomes, if the Afro-American Music Institute was not there, who would miss us? I think a lot of young people.
Hey, I owe.
They come in ones and twos and threes, sometimes alone, sometimes with parents. It's a little loud and a little busy, and there's music everywhere. It's Monday evening at 7131 Hamilton Avenue, home of the Afro-American Music Institute. There's the usual hubbub of piano lessons and impatient younger brothers, but most are here because it's rehearsal night for the AAMI Boys Choir.
We're 2 doors down from the Carnegie Library here in Homewood on Hamilton Avenue, and we're near the intersection of North Homewood and Hamilton.
Since 1982, the Afro-American Music Institute has taught people how to sing, write, and play music. Did you look around Pittsburgh and see a need for something like this?
There's a need for something like this anywhere in America. To systematize Afro-American music. Now, of course, when you're saying Afro-American music, you're talking about jazz, blues, gospel, Negro spirituals, Broadway, black art music.
When it comes to music and the African-American community, Dr. Johnson, or Dr. J as he's known, is something of an expert. He's a performer, composer, arranger, and a teacher. Dr. J's wife, is not only a musician, but the big engine behind the AAMI's many moving parts.
She always had these creative ideas. She was giving hay rides. She had a nightclub in the church. It was a religious nightclub, but those ideas were fresh and new. I'm sure this is one of the things that attracted me to her, this young lady. So ever since then, we've been creating, and our greatest creativity has been the Afro-American Music Institute.
Obviously, you get along well together, and you're both creative people. So, do those strong temperaments always run together smoothly?
Do they crash sometimes?
Do those two strong rivers crash into each other?
I think a saying that we use all the time is, where my weakness is his strength.
And vice versa.
And where his strength is my
And
guess.
another way to look at it,
So we balance it.
we always have the same goals, but maybe different methods of getting there.
One of the things I was struck about at last night's rehearsal was that there were so many parents there and how invested they were.
There were parents and grandparents there, and maybe a couple instances of aunts and uncles. Any overseer, adult overseer of any child that's in their family that does well, it's just natural for them to be proud. I will say that there are a lot of single parents, a lot of grandparents. Understandably, you know, in the life that we live, it's not always the perfect situation where the mother and father is there for the child. So either the single parent or the grandparents will end up bringing them, trying to find some other extra activities for them to do.
Pam, you are running things, managing things. Do you also find yourself managing the expectations of parents?
Mostly what I find is, even though children are coming there for music lessons and the relationship, as Dr. JB, are like a family, sometimes I find myself feeling like a social worker because they come to you and they talk about problems they're having with the children, and sometimes they will ask me, could I say something to the child? And I find that you find yourself mentoring children because the parent needs help.
Though not all AAMI students come from at-risk homes, the Johnsons have the experience to help those who do.
We don't know what's going on in the home. We don't know whether there are other people there. We don't know whether there are abusive situations there. We don't know what's going on in the community. We don't know if somebody is nervous, can't sleep. We don't know about the nourishment. There's just so many things that could be going on wrong. So we have to recognize that because we get all types of people in the Institute.
In the 22 years of the Boys Choir's existence, the Johnsons have contributed more than just a musical education to their charges. Do you also, Dr. J, find yourself acting as kind of a surrogate father for a lot of these boys?
Yes, I've sometimes had to play the role of Uncle James for real. I've even had fathers and grandfathers to come to me about straightening their children out because of the respect. You know, this is like playing the piano. This is like shooting a gun. You want the finger going this way. From young men who come and they've gone on to do other things, what would I have done if the Afro-American Music Institute had not been there to fill the void in my life? I hate to think where I would have been or what I would have been doing. But no, they tell me that was that void that was filled in their life, you know, and emptiness. And so the question becomes, if the Afro-American Music Institute was not there, who would miss us?
Left, right, left.
Yet, in our seemingly ever-changing media landscape, the lack of positive images and role models for African American males remains a constant. Dr. Larry Davis is the Dean of the School of Social Work and Director of the Center on Race and Social Problems at the University of Pittsburgh. He is also a fan of the AAMI. Can you tell me why an institution like the AAMI is so important?
African American youth, unfortunately, don't have as many places to go to as they might for inspiration or where they can see themselves performing. Music is one of them. For many boys, it's absolutely imperative that they have some place where they see black males doing something. Someone like Obama is a very positive role model, but he's a long ways away. I mean, he's someplace beyond comparison. You know, he's the president of the country. But people close to them down the street in the music hall where they're practicing is a wonderful thing for them to have. It's someone they can touch, feel, see, listen to, get to know, believe that they can become.
You are an educator and a published author, but you're also a dad, and your sons have attended the Afro-American Music Institute. Why did you make that choice?
Well, I have 3 sons, actually, and they have attended there, and they still, in fact, my oldest boy still does. He takes music every week. They feel comfortable there. I think they sense the sense of belonging, and they sense a part of their own I don't know, history or future or fate there with other musicians.
And I was wondering if you think that doing things like this, does it really make a difference?
Oh yeah, this is very positive. I mean, because because negative things always transfer. You know, in other words, if a black person does something bad, people generalize the whole group. Positive things sometimes are localized. You're the exception. You're the exceptional black person, or I'm the exceptional black person.
In the amount of time it takes to pack and unpack a keyboard, the AAMI's senior piano instructor and assistant director has traded one hat for another.
My name is Howard Melbourne Alexander III, and I am a professional musician, and I teach music, and I play music, write music, arrange music.
How did the AAMI become part of your life?
I was over at the Manchester Craftsmen's Guild studying music with Dr. Nelson Harrison. And I think one week he couldn't make it, so he had Dr. James Johnson sub for his class that he was teaching. And after meeting Dr. J and his son James, I had to be around that person, these people, all the time.
What stood out for you being in the AAMI Boys Choir?
It was the positive reinforcement of the Afro-American Music Institute Boys Choir that kind of sucked me in. You know, it feels good to be a role model. It's reassuring, and you know, I don't have to worry about things going wrong in my life because I'm trying to stay right and positive for the 20, 30 kids that I have to see every Monday. I didn't really grow up deficient of positive role models. It was always ingrained into my mind and into my spirit to either be that person or be around those people.
Does it bother you when you see the way that African American men and boys are portrayed in the media?
I understand. A lot of it is African American men not doing what they're supposed to do, and a lot of it sometimes is the media not showing the positive things that go on. There's balance in life. For every person out there with a gun, there's someone out there with a pen. We get to do a lot of things here. It's not just singing, but it's the discipline, it's the camaraderie. It's like being in a fraternity and you don't have to pay a yearly due. It's like being on a sports team and you're not gonna have to worry about breaking your arm.
Hey, my boss back up. AAMI. Somebody was late.
Love and discipline. They're the overriding themes at AAMI Boys Choir rehearsals. It's important for the veterans to set an example for the younger members.
Take 4, march around the building. 9.
So a hand-picked group of older brothers, whom Dr. J calls May-Jays, help the younger members find their footing, in more ways than one.
Put your right toe behind your left heel, and then you just kind of swing yourself around. And you're very good!
And what does the May-Jay Force do?
Basically, we're responsible for keeping order. Of course, dealing with young men, you know, they get energetic, sometimes out of line, and basically to be a reflection of how we are supposed to act as far as mannerism and, you know, that sort of stuff.
Hey, my boss back. At ease. AAMI.
So how were you chosen to be in the May-Jay Force?
Dr. J really just looks at who takes responsibility in the choir, who, you know, acts right, and then he'll probably pull you aside after a rehearsal and talk to you about being on the force, or say you'll help be in charge on when we go on trips and things like that, keeping order in the hotels, and if we go to dormitories sometimes, and that's how he usually picks.
Let's go. Let's keep moving.
Is it a good responsibility to have, or would you rather be having fun?
You can do both at the same time. It's a good responsibility to have because you can keep things in order, but you can still have fun at the same time. It's just making sure things don't get out of hand while you're having fun.
I'm giving them kind of a military value because it makes them focus and it gives them a sense of awareness and purpose and group identity because they do things together.
AAMI Boys Choir. Left face. Right face. Turn, snap.
It gives them a sense of, wow, we're doing something special here, more than just singing. We are a group.
Bring the front line out. Front line is not straight.
So when they go out to go and make public appearances, there's a sense of unity, and it's military. Other people notice those kinds of things.
People do notice the Boys Choir, and for all the right reasons. They've performed in a number of states and have taken first place in the National Boys Choir competition. For a grandparent like Charles Cohen, that sense of discipline and purpose are essential for his grandsons.
Okay, they've been bright boys because their mother raised them very well, but she died of cancer when they were 5 and 7. 5 and 7, that's an early age to lose their mother, you know. We decided not to let the family be split up because there were 6 siblings, 6 of them. And you know, foster homes will not take 6 kids into one home. They'll split them up, so they will lose their siblings. So we said, well, we'll take them, keep them together. Now, at that time, I was, 80 years old, 81 years old. So I told her, I said, well, it's going to be a tough time for us because you and I are in our 80s, and these kids need young, energetic, modern-minded parents, you know. So I said, now, if we're going to take them, we're going to have to be not visiting grandparents, we're going to have to be 24/7 grandparents. It's one reason I like the AAMI, because he has structure with these boys. You notice how they stand up? AAMI. AAMI. It's almost like a military thing. And yet they give them plenty of love and plenty of leeway. But when it's time for structure,
push-ups, sit-ups, duck walk, squats, that's all a part of the day. Well, play is good for them anyway. And some of those who act bad, I said, you know, when you leave here, you're going to be a Mr. Universe because you're going to have so many muscles from doing push-ups. You're going to be able to go and win first prize.
The Institute, I find, is good because it not just takes talent and nurtures it and trains them and, you know, and improves their talent, but it also makes them keep the structure going. You know, they also have a strong base under them, you see.
For Raheem Perry, discovering the AAMI came with a little prodding from his mom.
She was telling me, like, I'm going to get you into this boys' choir. And he's like, no, I don't want to go, I don't want to go. And then one day she forces me into going, and I'm pretty shy, and I'm just starting out. And then when I went to my first concert with the boys' choir, I forget where it was at, but I did well, and I stayed in my key, and I was accepted in the boys' choir.
Baraka, 15, and Andrew, 14, are boys' choir veterans. Did you know you could sing, and did you want to sing?
I really didn't want to, because I didn't think I could sing. But as I got into it, I actually thought I could sing a little bit better than I really thought I could, and it grown on me. It was a good experience for me.
How about at school? Are any of the lessons that you learned here, do they work for you in school?
Oh yeah, the discipline. Standing up straight, not talking when you're not supposed to, sitting in your chair correctly, and in music too. I'm learning more about jazz artists, because I never really listened to jazz until I started here. So I learned about more jazz artists, learned how to play some instruments better than I could, and still working on it.
With every man, and this message of peace throughout the land.
It's helped a lot with the teachers. They see that, my playing and then my singing, they really, enjoy the singing, that I can help from a student's point of view with another student, help them, with the notes and things like that. And it's great. It really is great.
There are so many negative images of young African American men in the media. And I wondered how you felt as young black men about the way you're portrayed when you turn on the television. Do you feel self-conscious or strange or proud?
When I see it, I feel like that we could do better than what we're doing. And when I see that, I feel like I need to go out in the world and show them that that's not what I am, and that's not what we represent, that we can rise above that and step away from the negative image and show them that the positive things that we can do.
Will you give up your soul? No!
Most people, when they look on TV and they will see this person, this black male's got shot, this one is going to jail, and most people, they just watch TV and that's the only thing that they see.
Rhythm is the heart of our freedom. Will you give up your pride? No!
And sometimes they see like just a regular person that's not doing all the problem. They'll kind of step back a little bit because they're scared. But what they don't know is that there are some good guys like us out there. There's a whole lot of us out there. It's just that we have just so many people that are just putting out a bad word on who we are.
Nasir Butler is 11 years old. For him, guys like Andrew and Baraka can be really important. Are there older people in the choir that you admire?
Kinda, yeah.
Tell me what you admire about them.
Well, they like stick up for you. Like Andrew, he tells you what to do. Like if you mess up on something, he'll fix it for you. And all the May Jays fix things for you, and it's helpful.
Ely, seen here in green, is one of the founders of Umoja, an African arts group. He also has 2 sons in the choir.
I am an artist, also here in the city of Pittsburgh. I'm originally from the Democratic Republic of Congo. I've been in Pittsburgh for almost 23 years. My connection to AAMI goes back from the time I arrived in the city of Pittsburgh. It's with the 2 founders, Pam and Dr. J. There's no better way when you know you have especially young men and young African American in America today. You know, the life is very difficult. We must stop the fighting, stop the killing. But I want them still to learn or to know that they are Africans, that we have a culture. I'll give you a perfect example. For clothing when they wear, sometimes they feel like they want to pull their pants down like any other boys. So I believe the AMI gives the kids that place of them realizing you're not alone, that we don't want you just to be like the mainstream culture wants you to be. But you can still be a good citizen with your pants up and tuck your shirt in and look up and be proud of your culture.
For James Robertson, the road to peer acceptance hasn't always been a smooth one. When he and his family moved to Pittsburgh, he experienced a culture clash.
I'm originally from Texas, and I grew up in a very, southern suburban area. And when I moved up here, living in a very urban area, people would kind of look at me weird, and they would see me as differently than I saw myself. And they're like, well, you're not cool enough. You're not black enough, as they would say. You don't wear the right shoes. You don't wear the right clothes. And I would always say, well, my appearance is not, that doesn't depict who I am. I see myself as, just a young man that's trying to do his best, trying to go to school, trying to have a career. And I ask myself, well, what's wrong with that?
James is a novice filmmaker, and he found acceptance in the boys' choir. His short film, 65 Roses, probably wouldn't exist without the help of the AAMI.
It came from a song that I wrote called 65 Roses that was dedicated to a friend of mine who has cystic fibrosis.
Through a program sponsored by Pittsburgh Gateways, James received a Dreammakers Award.
And so without me knowing, Dr. J had submitted that into this program, and they said, this is a young man you really need to get involved with. And so it was an entrepreneurship group, and they said, wow, so this is great. We want to give you an opportunity to make your dream come true. Not every African-American young man has that opportunity, and for me to have the opportunity, I think I'm very blessed for that.
It's the first of a series of Saturday rehearsals that brings nearly the full choir together. Soon, the boys will go on the road for a performance at Clarion University. It's a time for risking solos,
When God created mankind, he said that this is good.
practicing rhyming skills, and making sure that everyone's working together. Regardless of size, age, or race. How do you define a family? In many ways, it's not about whether you look alike or share the same last name. A lot of times, it's about giving and support and being there week after week. And sometimes, it's about requiring just a little bit more from the people you care about.
Everybody's put here for something. It's just that everybody is not aware sometimes of what that mission is. Everybody's not aware sometimes of why the Creator put them, he or her or whoever, to do what they're called upon to do. I think if you're just bored and you just walk around in circles with no guidance, no mission, then you come here and you live and you die without making a contribution to society.
This is what an African American family or a home supposed to be like. And for me, AAMI is that home. It gives you comfort. It's not big. It's not flashy. It is really down to earth. And when you come here, you feel, I am in my place. I am where I'm supposed to be.
Being a part of that really gives me an opportunity to kind of be a big brother to guys that don't usually have like a big brother or a father figure in their lives.
You're creating role models. You know, you're instilling hope and spirituality in the kids, and it's a really awesome, you know, thing to do and be part of. I'm just thankful for it. I hope it lasts forever.
Funding for this program was made possible by the Heinz Endowments. Thank you.